Greetings, ghosties. Welcome to this video, which was a mess. It was a mess, like a raging dumpster fire to edit. Because it was. So I recently just got back from Paris, and while I was there, I went to the Catacombs. I didn't know if I was going to film while I was at the Catacombs or not until the day of, because, you know, I was there for vacation. I wasn't there to film videos, and sometimes you just want to experience things with your own eyes instead of through a lens. And so, like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to film or not while I was at the Catacombs, but I did end up filming a little bit. Be prepared. I just wanted to warn you, it's not like my normal videos. It's not heavily edited. There's no investigation. It was just a tour that I went on of the Catacombs, and I wanted to show you guys at least something and bring you guys with. So I'm gonna let you guys watch that, and then afterwards, if you want to stick around, I'll be sharing kind of my thoughts and feelings about the Catacombs and my experience while I was there. Greetings, ghosties. Welcome to a brand new video, and one that I think you are going to really enjoy. If you did not know, I am currently in Paris. I'm here on vacation. If you haven't been following me on Instagram or Twitter, then you've been missing all the really cool pictures and posts that I've been putting up. So if you want, go check me out on Twitter or on Instagram, whichever you prefer. But today, we're going to the Catacombs. I'm super excited about this. It's somewhere that I've always wanted to go. We booked a tour. It's like a 2-hour long tour. It takes you to some of the restricted areas. It's supposed to be a small group of us, so I'm really excited. Unfortunately, it's not going to be like a ghost hunting investigation type thing because, you know, I can't just say, hey, leave me alone to investigate in here for a little while. And I wasn't confident enough to try and find somebody on my own to take me into the Catacombs like illegally. I was like, maybe not this trip. I don't want to be in a French prison. But we do have a tour booked, which I'm really excited about. So why don't we head to the Catacombs? Heading through some tunnels now. Getting closer.
And then 5. This is the amount of times that this wall had to be rebuilt before it would stay standing. And this is by far not the largest number down here. And if that doesn't fill you with confidence while we're running down here, I don't know what I can do for you.
Right now we're walking down this long corridor that will lead us more into like the spooky parts of the Catacombs, which has all the bones and the remains and everything. Oh yeah, you can see the other tunnel back there.
Over time, the cemetery started getting a little too full. It reached its capacity. The soil level of the cemetery was much higher than the ground level outside of the cemetery, simply because these bodies had basically taken up quite a bit of space. It was basically just a mass grave, and there were a lot of bodies there. The problem is that the soil could no longer do its job of decomposing these bodies. There was too much bacteria in the air. It caused it to smell quite bad. It also caused wine to turn to vinegar very quickly. It caused milk to turn sour very quickly, and broth to go sour very quickly. There was also rumors of a ooze coming off the cemetery walls, and this ooze was decomposing body fat. This was a legitimate thing that happened during that time. There was, in fact, decomposing body fat just coming off the walls of someplace. So in 1781, there was an inn that actually shared a basement wall with the cemetery, okay? Now, the innkeeper sends his daughter to go get a bottle of wine from the basement, and she doesn't come back. So he goes to look for her. He opens his basement door, and he discovers a sea of decomposing bodies and dirt. Whenever she pulled the wine off the wall, it caused a chain reaction, and the whole thing collapsed upon her. She obviously did not make it, and they closed the cemetery the next day. Well, we're stopped adding to the problem, but we still have a problem. This is still a really gross cemetery, it's still going to be there. What do we do with all these bodies? The chief of police, he gets an idea and he calls his friend, Charles Axel Guillermo, the chief inspector general, and he says, hey, like, I know you're working down in the catacombs, or in the mines rather, do you think there's some space for us to put some of these bodies down there? And Charles Axel Guillermo says, well, you know, I have 186 miles of space down here, we can put them down here, no problem. So what they decided to do is they sanctify the ground, they bless the ground in 1785, and they start moving bodies down here in 1786 from this particular cemetery. Now, they still had to kind of keep it under wraps, because if the people found out that they were moving bodies, public opinion would not be very in their favor. It would not be a very good thing for them. So what they decided to do was they did it in the dead of night, all dressed in black. They took wagons over to the cemetery. They burned off any flesh that was still attached to any of these bones. They filled up those wagons with bones, and they went over to the nearest surface entrance and dumped the bones down the hole. And so the total amount of bodies just from this cemetery over 2 million. They moved them over the course of a year and a half, from 1786 to 1787, and they got them all down here.
Now, this is like the main ossuary where all of the bones are stacked. Insane. It just goes on and on and on and on. All human bone. These are tibias and femurs all stacked. And then the skulls. So insane down here. So insane. How many bones? She said like millions and millions of people.
So this here is an altar. It looks like a tomb. It's not a real tomb. It's a replica of a tomb. Any bodies that are down here are in bone form and in the wall. There is no like tombs of people. Or, you know, there's the unsuspecting victim of the mines that got lost down here forever. Those bodies exist too. But for the most part, they're just bones.
She was telling us that after midnight, if you're here, sometimes people hear disembodied voices that lure them further and further into the catacombs. It's insane. Look at this entire wall. Just walls and walls, rows of skeletons and bones. I'm not sure if it's just like a coincidence or whatever, but I do have a massive stomach ache. I've had it the entire time I've been down here. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching the little bit that I did film while I'm there. I thought some of the history was really, really neat. The fact that there's almost 200 miles worth of tunnels underneath the city and just millions upon millions of remains down there. It blows my mind. And I knew these statistics when I was going to the catacombs. I knew that it was this massive underground labyrinth of tunnels and bodies and remains, but it's not until you actually get inside that you realize how big this is and just how many bodies are in there. Just rows and rows of bones stacked in, and I mean stacked up to like your head. Like, it's high. Now, while I was down there, unfortunately I did not experience anything paranormal or supernatural. The only thing I could say is that I felt nauseous the entire time I was down there. A little bit dizzy, a little kind of like disoriented, but that's about it. I didn't hear anything, I didn't see anything, but it's definitely a creepy place, and it's actually one of the few places that I can say I'm not sure I'd want to be in there with no lights on. I mean, it would be pitch black, first of all. You wouldn't be able to see your way around. People that have gone into the catacombs, some of them that have gotten lost and run out of battery for their lights, were never seen from again. There was a video that circulated, oh God, years ago about a man, and he was running through the catacombs almost like he was scared or being followed or being chased or anxious that he's not going to be able to find his way out, and you just see him running through these tunnels and tunnels, and then he drops his camera and you just see him kind of run off, which is so scary to think about, because if he ran out of light, there's no way he would find his way out of there. It's pitch black with no lights there. One of the creepiest stories that I heard from our tour guide, and I mentioned it very briefly in the video, is, you know, there are the illegal ways to get into the catacombs, and people that have been in the catacombs at night illegally have said that after midnight they hear voices calling and luring them further and further into the catacombs, almost to get them lost so that they'll get so deep into it that they won't be able to find their way back out. And that creeps me out. Not to mention that if you're in the catacombs illegally, you don't know who else is down there with you. I'm sure there's other people that go into the catacombs. Our tour guide said that people go down there all the time to party. Sometimes like homeless people kind of seek refuge in the tunnels as well. So you never know the type of person that you're going to come up on in the catacombs if you do run upon other people. So that was another reason why I decided to do just a guided tour and not kind of venture off on my own to try and get in there illegally. Plus, I was there for vacation, and I didn't want to spend my vacation in a prison in France. Would I love to do an investigation there? Of course. I would love to. A couple years back, there was like a contest, and the contest winners got to spend a night in the catacombs with the lights off or with their flashlights and stuff like that. And the tour guide said that they didn't last very long. They didn't last very long at all. I think they said maybe 4 or 5 hours, and that was it. They were radioing saying that they wanted to come out and they didn't want to be down there anymore. And I can totally see why. It is, you just get an eerie feeling while you're down there. It's really quite spooky. It was one of my bucket list places. It was somewhere that I've always wanted to see for my own eyes, and so I'm so glad that I did get to go see it. And I'm glad I decided to film at least a little bit and show you guys the little bit that I did film. I'm sorry it wasn't like a proper investigation and there was no, fancy editing or anything like that, but I just kind of wanted to do a kind of like a vlog style and just bring you guys along. Plus, I didn't bring any of my fancy camera equipment. Usually I bring my camera with my lights and my external microphones and stuff like that, and I just brought my little like handheld vlogging camera, so that's why the quality is a little bit different than my normal videos. But either way, I hope you guys just enjoyed kind of getting a glimpse into the catacombs. Many more investigations are coming. We have the McIntyre Villa planned. We have, I'm going to West Virginia to retrace in the footsteps of the Mothman, Bel Air House in Ohio, and the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. So those things are all coming up within the next like couple months. I start traveling again in March, so very, very excited about that. Of course, there'll be other videos in the meantime. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure and give it a like. If you're new, subscribe. I go to all these different haunted locations and do investigating. So if you're into that, stick around. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.